Well, Joel usually hits me from the back, and Ethan usually puts it in my mouth.
Wow.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Popcorn Revolver, where three dudes talk about movies that we like and sometimes don't like. My name is Ben, and I'm one of your three hosts.
Hi, my name is Mitch. I'll be your host with the most this week.
And my name is Lucas. I am coming to you from Arizona this week.
I have the plague. I'm sorry.
You sound pretty good at least. There have been darker days on this podcast and where we have sounded lot worse.
That is very true.
A lot more sniffling to edit out and such.
And shit microphones.
True.
This month's theme is cult classics, and today we're discussing Mitch's pick, fucking Raising Arizona, the sophomore film from the Coen Brothers.
Excited to talk about it.
Yeah, let's hear it, Mitch. You get blast it all over my face.
Oh no.
Okay. Happy to, Ben. Raising Arizona was released in 1987, was directed and written by Joel and Ethan Coen. It follows H.I. McDonough, also known as Hi. He's a 2-bit criminal with a penchant for holding up convenience stores. Ed, his unlikely spouse, is a former cop and jail photographer. Ed tries to tame Hi's outlaw nature, and Hi tries to fly straight. But their salad days are thrown into shambles when they find out Ed is barren. Cartoonish antics ensue when Ed hatches a plan to steal a baby from a wealthy couple who recently had quintuplets. The law, Hi's jail buddies, his boss, and a biker from hell are all after the recently stolen baby, as Hi and Ed are just trying to keep their new family together.
When you said that this movie came out in 1987, I had to do a double take because I didn't realize it was that old. Had you guys seen this before?
First time.
Yes, I'd seen it before. I didn't just pick it on a whim.
When was the last time you saw it?
I probably watched it maybe a year or two ago, showing it to Kira for the first time.
I watched it in film school. My film professor showed it to us on the last day of class.
So quite a long time ago then.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Yeah. Do we want to do subtitles? Do we want to do our little subtitles?
Well, we could, but also my first question is literally, what is your relationship to the Coen Brothers? So should we just talk about that first before we do subtitles, or what?
Well, Joel usually hits me from the back, and Ethan usually puts it in my mouth.
Wow.
So a very intimate relationship.
Damn. Okay, well,
Coen Brothers, I didn't know you
let's
went
start
that
with
way.
subtitles then, eh?
That was great, Ben.
Dude, I like that question. I don't want to skip that question.
No, we'll come back. We'll come back to you. Come back to it, but you're in timeout. We need to put you in timeout for a little bit.
This is a new segment, ladies and gentlemen, called Ben is in Timeout. For the next 10 minutes, Ben can't speak or else he gets shot called. I'm just kidding.
Who wants to go first on subtitles?
Yeah.
Okay,
go ahead.
Lucas.
Raising Arizona. Bunnies and juniors, be warned.
What?
I need new cast members. Bunnies.
Bunnies.
The biker.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Throws the grenade,
Got it.
explodes the bunnies,
Got
so
it.
bunnies be warned, and then juniors, because
Yeah.
a junior gets kidnapped,
Yeah,
Nathan
got
Jr.
it.
gets kidnapped. Who watched the movie? Raise your hand.
Got it.
Raising your hand or zone.
Raising the gun to the Temple of Zona.
Mine is Raising Arizona, Nick Cage's most serious role.
No.
Mine is Raising Arizona. I'm gonna steal it. I'm gonna steal the baby.
I like that one. I like that one a lot. That's good.
I think I saw an unhinged review like that.
Oh, really? That's funny.
Yeah.
All right. Well, shall we dive in head first?
Yeah, let's do it. So, back to my first question. What is your guys' relationship to the films of the Coen Brothers?
I fucking love the Coen Brothers so goddamn much. It used to be, I would have told you they're my favorite directors. But they're still amazing. I fucking love No Country for Old Men. And I fucking love Ballad of Buster Scruggs. I think that movie's very underrated. I think it's so good. I've seen Blood Simple, Raising Arizona, Barton Fink, Fargo, Big Lebowski, Lady Killers, No Country for Old Men, Burn After Reading, A Serious Man, Inside Llewyn Davis, and The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. So I still have a couple more I need to work through, but I don't think any of those I didn't like. A Serious Man is a little bit it's a little weird, but fuck, they've just put up so many W's.
Big numbers. The box score is crazy.
Personally, I had only watched like one of their movies, maybe two, when I went to college. True Grit I watched, and I was obsessed with True Grit. Love that movie. And then No Country for Old Men, also an incredible movie. Then everybody was like ratting them so hard it made me not want to watch their stuff. But throughout college I watched Oh Brother Where Art Thou, Ballad of Buster Scruggs, all bangers. All two of them bangers. I think I've seen Inside Llewyn Davis and I didn't really enjoy that one.
Hold
and
up.
The Big Lebowski.
You didn't enjoy fucking it. Mitch, whenever I think of Inside Llewyn Davis, I think of Mitch. I don't know why.
Yeah. I think you made me watch that, Mitch.
I
Or
don't
not
know.
made me, but you
At
recommended
gunpoint.
it. Yeah, I
know
mean,
if that's
basically,
true.
the way these people be glazing Coen Brothers.
Yeah, that was actually a stray to me and Ben for being Coen Brothers boys.
Yeah, what the fuck, Lucas?
Not
Yeah.
just you two, also
know.
Seth.
Yeah, he's also a Coen Brothers boy.
Seth's sister.
I don't know if I made you watch Inside Llewyn Davis. I definitely had I think Seth had the soundtrack to it in our dorm, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I remember that.
So you're familiar, you would say, Lucas, but maybe not like a diehard fan or anything.
No, like I like a lot of their movies, but True Grit and No Country for Old Men were probably the two that like really stood out to me as like these stand out from other good movies as like great movies. But I am not like I'm not obsessed with like everything that comes out from them. I don't need to watch the next Coen Brothers movie, you know.
Gotcha.
But I will watch them if I feel like it.
Wow. Wow.
Does that at all make sense?
Yeah, mostly. Yeah.
I will watch
Like,
them if I watch them, yes.
Like, okay. I will watch the next Yorgos movie no matter what. That is not me with the Coen Brothers. If it's a Coen Brothers stamp, I'm like, oh, interesting. I should give it a chance. But I'm not like, I need to watch the Coens.
There's also a big backlog. There's a lot to watch, too.
Yeah. And now they're doing like solo stuff. Like
Yeah.
BTS broke up or what is it?
They're basically the same as One Direction, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I am a pretty big Coen Brothers guy. I mean, it's not like my bag isn't super deep, but it's deep enough. I took a class on them in college, director studies, Tarantino and the Coen Brothers, where we'd like flip back and forth every week between a Coen Brothers and a Tarantino film. And we kind of worked chronologically, which was pretty interesting. And we also only watched original screenplays. We didn't do any adaptive screenplays. So, you know, from their minds, essentially. But But yeah, that was kind of where I had a passing knowledge before that class, and then a really deep admiration for their work after that. And that was the first time I'd really seen Raising Arizona as an adult and really appreciated it.
The first time I ever saw a Coen Brothers movie, I was 9 years old on a vacation to Zihuatanejo, Mexico with my family. And my parents left me in the hotel room to go do something. And they left a movie on the TV. And the movie they left on was No Country for Old Men.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah!
And I watched it. I was like, this is fucking awesome.
That's funny.
Explains so much.
Yeah. I, funnily enough, still had my digital access to the books I had for that class. So I went back and I read the chapters, well, most of the chapters on Raising Arizona. And those were The Cinema of the Coen Brothers by Jeffrey Adams and The Philosophy of the Coen Brothers by Mark Kennard. I didn't...
What class was it?
It was director studies.
Oh.
Coen Brothers and Tarantino.
That's what the class was called?
Yeah. Director
Just glazing the two.
Director studies, Coen Brothers and Tarantino. So yeah, that's kind of my background, and I was kind of curious because I feel like a lot of people have relationships with their filmography because it's so big. It's like you have their comedies and their dramas, and some people like some and not one and not the other. Some people like all of it. So yeah.
I will say, like, as a kid, the two youngest, when I was youngest, the two movies I watched were No Country for Old Men. Had a similar experience with Ben. Watch it too young, and I was like, this is incredible. This is life changing. And then two, True Grit made me like walk around in the middle of the night with like an oil lamp, being like, I am in the 1800s. Where's Jeff Bridges?
What did you learn about directors in your director study class?
There's only 3 of them.
And I don't know what I learned. I think I learned how to watch movies, really, for the first time. That's what I think the big takeaway was from that class. Because it was like one of the hardest classes I had in school. Because it was textually dense. Like there was 3 books I had to read. I had to watch the movies. I had to articulate my thoughts. And I think it actually helped me be better at research in general, and analyzing art, which was not related to my major at all. It was more a fun thing to take. And then I took that and I took a lot of different film and politics related classes, which was my major. It was political science. So I think that class really springboarded me into analytical thinking in a way that I didn't anticipate.
Hell yeah.
One thing I love about the Coen Brothers comedies is that they are funny, yes, but woven into that comedy is a dense subtext. And I think the opening to the film embodies that perfectly, which we get about 10 minutes of unbroken narration and backstory where Nicolas Cage, H.I. McDonough, gives us the rundown before the title sequence and the opening music play. What was the vibe? What was your feeling going in, like experiencing that 10-minute intro?
I honestly had to feed the dogs, and I was like, perfect pausing point. And I was like, only 10 minutes have passed? Like, so much has been set up. Like, this is, and they did it in a way that didn't feel rushed. Like, you know what Nicolas Cage's character is like. You kind of have imagined this long history of him, High and Ed meeting over and over again. I thought it was really like a really well done tight 10 minutes.
That first part of the movie is similar to the rest of the movie, which is like cycles of behavior or patterns of behavior, people getting stuck in like their ways. Because that whole sequence is just him robbing a convenience store, getting put in prison, where he sees Ed again, and then hanging out in prison and talking to all the people there and seemingly making progress, and then convincing the board to let him go, and then he goes and robs the convenience store again, and the whole cycle repeats.
I think there's so much cool shit that happens in that first sequence, which is like one of the reasons I love this movie, is like so many of the themes that it's addressing are like baked in from the start in this intro. It's almost like they wrote that little bit and then they were building the characters, and then they like stopped and they're like, okay, now we have a story. And then they went from there. I think the metaphors of like birth, incarceration, economics, like all these things come up in that 10 minutes. It's super dense, but it's also hilarious.
Coen Brothers movies are so fucking fun. Like the comedies are so funny.
Yeah. Did you guys have a favorite? Like they're really good at writing sort of
Side characters.
Side characters, yeah. I think we had this conversation. I forget what we were talking about, but there's a lot of personality in the side characters. Was there a side character in this film particularly that stood out to you? Because mine's in the intro.
Oh man, I don't know if he's a side character, but I really liked Mr. Arizona.
Yeah.
He's good. I loved Gale. I mean, John Goodman's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh fuck yeah.
I mean, yeah. I
also,
think of him as more of like a
something-
character, I guess. But yeah, he is great. Sorry, go ahead. You were gonna say something.
No, I was just like, oh, he's not a side character. No, you know when something's referenced a bunch of times, but you never see the source, and then you eventually see it, and you're like, oh shit, is that what that's from? With John Goodman like crawling out of the prison, like out of the dirt, like
Yeah.
I've seen that repeated in Family Guy and South Park or whatever. Like I've seen it everywhere, and I was like, oh shit, that's what this is from. That's fun.
Yeah.
I thought that was a reference to the Shawshank Redemption,
But this
that
was
movie
first.
Came out after.
Yeah, I know. Maybe, yeah. Maybe
Maybe it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Well, Shawshank Redemption was a book, wasn't it? So maybe
it was
they
a
read the
short
book.
story by Stephen King. I don't know when that short story was written, but it's hard to imagine Stephen King being. Maybe he's a weird guy. Anyway, maybe he could have been inspired by this film, but that is like a whole another can of worms. Is like this the Stephen King, like he called them $1 babies, like these short stories he would write, and then if like a young filmmaker wanted to adapt his work, he'd like give them to them for $1. And Shawshank Redemption was one of those $1 babies of his, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Sidebar.
That's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Also, fucking Stephen King made or he didn't make it, but he wrote a short story called The Langoliers. Have you guys ever seen The Langoliers?
No.
No.
Oh, fuck. I want to recommend that one of these episodes. This shit is fucking hilarious.
But I'm getting sidetracked.
Yes.
The
Talk about Stephen King.
talking about Stephen King.
Yeah, what the fuck?
A fellow Mainer. I really
Have you
like.
noticed any like scary things going on in Maine?
Yeah. I really like. They're kind of yin and yang characters, but his bunkmate in prison, who's like, when there was no fish, we ate fowl, and when there was no fowl, we ate crawdad. I really like that guy. A lot of character there. And then his sort of flip side is the guy that High works with at the metal pressing mill, who's just doing the same thing, just telling the same like story every day while like High's actually working. So the basic like foundation of this film is the union of the outlaw, the kind of incompetent outlaw in High, and this law woman in Ed. And their kind of unlikely relationship. And what did you guys what do you guys think of High and Ed as a couple, as a domestic unit?
They're very cute, but they're so dysfunctional.
Yeah. Doomed.
I mean, I know she is a cop, but she's the one who suggests they steal a baby.
It's true.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, that's interesting though, because it's kind of about her being, her whole world being shaken up by being barren, that like changes her perspective on justice, right? She goes from like probably a pretty goody two shoes following all the rules to be like, I'm barren. Well, I want that baby high. Like, just willing to do anything to change of circumstance.
Very much an example of opposites attract. Like when the uppity goody two shoes meets a wild child is like, ooh, this is crazy. Like, let me see where this goes. And the crazy person's like, I need someone to rein me in.
So the film uses the setting of the Arizona desert as a backdrop for themes of barrenness, birth. What do you guys pick up from that? Like, what did that imagery / metaphor, how did it play into your perception of the film?
Everybody in the movie is scavenging shit. Or like trying to get shit. Like as soon as Glenn and his criminal friend, hear that High has kidnapped an expensive child, they immediately fucking throw him under the bus and steal the kid. Everybody's out there fighting for scraps.
So kind of a Wild West kind of feeling, or
Yeah,
a scarcity thing.
A scarcity thing, yeah, exactly.
That's interesting.
It felt to me like, I get that scarcity thing. It felt to me more like Mad Max Fury Road, especially with like Leonard Smalls.
Yep.
The guy blowing up bunnies. That is funny though. I didn't connect the two of like her inability to have a child and like the barren desert mirroring each other.
Yeah, there's a lot of labor / birth metaphors in the film if you're kind of like looking for them. A few examples is High's jail buddies, when they break out of prison, they sort of like literally crawl out of the ground like it's a womb, right? There's some
This movie's doing something.
Yeah, right. Which plays into other metaphors of justice and other things that gets really interesting if you start picking at that scab.
Sorry, hold on. Like, are you saying like the recidivism of High is kind of like this like birth, rebirth, death cycle sort of thing?
Well, a little bit. Well, the way they frame incarceration is sort of like, this sort of Sisyphusian thing where you're pushing the boulder up the hill and then you fall down. Like you're in this endless cycle of, like birth and death, or you could view it as, because like at the end in High's fantasy, they feel they're not, his criminal friends feel they're not ready to be out in the world, so they retreat to the safety of prison, like returning to the womb. It's this very like heady place that you can definitely go to with this film. One of the ones that jumps out to me is that, so they steal the baby, right? And High and Ed are about to take their first family photo. Ed keeps thinking of all these things that they should be worried about, and like all this preparation and all these things that come with having a kid, and they're taking this photo, and Nick Cage, High, is like, we're about to pop, honey. We're about to pop, which is very like, the baby's about to come, like, except it's already there. There's a ton of little moments like that in the film.
Yeah, it's interesting. I didn't notice them at first. That is cool.
That's very Coen Brothers.
Yeah.
Do that shit all the time.
Yeah.
Layers on layers like an onion.
I mean, I think there's a lot to get out of that, but do you think as a film, like you definitely don't have to dig into those metaphors to enjoy it. It feels like a broad comedy, right? Like, would you guys agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, if you aren't paying attention to those things, then it's a pretty. It feels like a '90s comedy,
Yes,
like a '90s
it really
screwball
does.
comedy, which is
Or
so
like
funny.
it created the formula. Sorry.
No, screwball comedies have been around for forever. They've been a thing forever. I mean, there was a bunch of them in the '90s, but like the fact that the Coen Brothers chose that as a vessel for this plot, and the fact that they chose to do that on their sophomore film, is insane. That is so ballsy. I can't. That's insane.
Well, I was reading in that book, I alluded to cinema of the Coen Brothers, that they, in an interview, they basically said when they finished Blood Simple, they wanted to do something as far away as a departure from Blood Simple as possible, which is this very crime noir film. And they're like zany, like sort of vaudevillian, weird cartoon movie.
I will say, like, if you compare it to A Serious Man, which is a movie that Coen Brothers movie that has a lot of, same layering of metaphors, and you can approach it from a bunch of different angles. A Serious Man, if you aren't watching it for those things, isn't a very enjoyable movie. It's sort of a slog to get through. A movie like No Country for Old Men, again, has all those things in it, but if you watch it, it's fucking thrilling.
Yeah.
Absolutely thrilling. This movie is funny and it's zany, but it's I I don't know, the aspects of screwball comedy that I guess I have a bad taste in my mouth from like '90s movies. That whole car
Yeah.
chase sequence where which is hilarious because he's robbing it but to get diapers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes from robbing it for money to robbing it to provide for his kid. It's so fucking ridiculous. Also,
Yeah.
the audio design is very screwball comedy. Like they have it's a shitload of Foley work. It's almost all added after the fact, and to the point where it's not silent, but it's really quiet in scenes where you imagine it could be, pretty loud, bunch of cars driving around, a bunch of dogs and stuff. But it gives it a very cartoonish feel. It was very deliberate on their part.
Yeah, and there's like over cranking, which is very cartoony and zany, and then the sound effects very much feel like a sound library. Like you type, you bought a CD that says gun sound effects, and they're like all the sounds are in there, or screeching tire sound effect, and it's in there.
Yeah.
So, Ben, are you saying that because, like you were saying that the screwball or the comedies from the 90s kind of left a bad taste in your mouth? Did you not enjoy that car chase scene?
No, it's I don't know. It's hard to describe. I really enjoy it because it's subversive, and postmodern. Ooh. they're taking this idea and they're using it as like they're turning it on its head. It's a really dense narrative, but there's a scene where one dude, fucking High's friend, asks him to wife swap. And it's like right out of fucking like American Pie or some shit like that. And if you're like those parts of the movie kind of, I did enjoy that part, but there are parts that are like sort of I guess a victim of their own aesthetic, whereas like there's some super goofy parts that are not only subversive but insane. The art direction of Mr. Arizona's house is a really good example. Like the room where they steal the kids from is huge. It's covered in like pastel colored carpets and shit. It looks like a toy house.
Yeah.
And a cool detail, he has shitloads of diapers just sitting over on the wall, the same brand that they've been trying to steal the whole movie. It's brilliant and it's ridiculous, but Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what I'm trying to say. My brain is full of plague.
That's fair. Plague brain is hard.
Would you say
I
like
get what you mean though. Like,
there are elements that worked for you, but also the commitment to the aesthetic and comedic choices, was it grating at times for you?
Maybe it like another good example. This is the best way I can put it. The scene where Gale and his cohort steal the baby and they drive away and with it on the roof and they forget it's on the roof and then they look at each other, they start screaming. That is so stupid. It's so fucking stupid. And it's straight, like, that's what I'm talking about, straight out of that sort of style of comedy. But I laughed so hard. I laughed so fucking hard.
I get that. Like, I chuckled, I laughed, but like I also saw it coming. / like when the car chase scene started, I was like, I didn't check out, but I was like, oh, I could check out because I know what's going to happen for the next couple of minutes. You know, it felt formulaic.
But why is that so
in that
funny?
way.
Is it because of John Goodman? It's probably because of John Goodman.
He just plays it big, and you're just like, all right, let's do it, John.
He's punching the roof. That shit is so fucking funny.
And they just hold it like a little too long, but not long enough that you are like, I'm done with this shit. Like just the perfect amount of time.
Like, if you know what they're doing, it's hilarious. It's a lot of fun. But if you don't know what they're doing, then you probably won't like any Coen Brothers movies. And you probably won't like this one.
When I was looking for unhinged reviews, the negative reviews I found were all very of that ilk. It was like, I don't get the Coen Brothers. I never find them funny, or they'll say like, I should have known it was a Coen Brothers film. I knew it wasn't gonna like it. It's like they're like, there's something in their aesthetic and process that just could potentially be alienating. I don't know. It is a bit silly. I don't know, because it
definitely is silly.
Oh, yeah.
is. I don't know.
I mean, even No Country for Old Men has silliness in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When fucking Javier, how do you say his name? Javier
Bardem.
Javier Bardem. When he showed up
Javier.
on set with his funny ass haircut, and they were like, "Yeah, that's the fucking shit." For No Country for Old Men, which is so serious. It's like they just know, like, I don't know what their process is or how they know that shit's gonna work. But if you're watching, and this is speaking as someone who loves the Coen Brothers, so maybe I'm getting this wrong, but I feel like people who watch the Coen Brothers and don't like it might think that they're disjointed.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So I never heard the whole, you either like the Coen Brothers, well, you either don't like the Coen Brothers, you like all their shit, or you like their comedies or their dramas. I, again, I liked Oh Brother Where Art Thou, and then I loved The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. I think those are the only two comedies I've seen from them. This comedy, I had fun with it, but I think it was my least favorite of their like comedies or movies that I've seen. But it's not like I don't like the Coen Brothers style of comedy.
How would you describe the Coen Brothers style of comedy?
A little like, I mean, silly, like a little slap happy. You know, you're up a little late with your friends at a sleepover, and you know you're sober because you're a child, but you have a little, you know, like loosey goosey silliness to you.
For me, the Coen Brothers humor is like finding humor in unexpected places. Like, especially in Buster Scruggs, that's a great example. That whole, have you guys both seen it?
It's been a long time. I haven't seen it since it came out.
The one story with Tom Waits' character, he gets shot and the guy smokes a cigarette and he's about to steal all his shit. And then he fucking beats him to death the second he gets to the hole, and he starts saying, "It didn't hit anything important." That comes out of fucking nowhere, and it's like that is such an unexpected place to put humor, but I mean, humor is like, you know, embellishment, unexpectedness.
Yeah,
I know humor. I know that is what humor is.
Good job, man.
why I tend to like their comedies is maybe there is the slap happy, like, oh, in this film it's a lot of sight gags or like people just screaming or whatever silly situation, incongruity. But I think it does come back to that textually dense things where like High just like he's like, I was trying to fly straight, but it was really hard with that son of a bitch Reagan in the White House. Like little things that tell you
Yeah.
a lot more about High than you would anticipate. So it's like, yes, it's very funny as like a jab at Reagan, but it also says you characterizes High in so many different ways that I think is really
Yeah.
interesting. And I think that's what like the heart of their comedies really is, in the textual parts too, which
Yeah.
makes like a kind of lowbrow movie in a lot of ways, like this sort of what could be seen as kind of a cheap comedy actually is kind of highbrow, like hidden highbrow, which I really like.
I did like that scene because it made me think of like that day that I watched it. It was particularly like, what are we doing, people? How am I working while like this crazy man is running our country and threatening to commit genocide? Like, and so when he was like, I tried to be straight, but how do I do that with Reagan in the office? I was like, yeah, I get that, man. I get that.
I think kind of leans in to that. My one of my core questions is like, is this film have sort of what is you think is the maybe political or economic thesis of this film? Like what do you guys think?
I think that's the thing I picked up the most on. It's that folks who, it's what like abundance or lack of access to abundance will do to a person. Right? Because like I said before, everybody, the setting is all about scarcity. The behaviors of everybody is based on their access to resources, you know? And Mr. Arizona is only pulled into it because he's the one who got stolen from, because he has more than he needs. They steal one of his babies because they're like, he's not going to notice. He has 5.
He has too many. I saw that too. I also feel like there's, strong theme of like recidivism and the like prison not actually focusing on rehabilitation, especially in those first 10 minutes. It was, they're like, have you learned your lesson? And he was like, yes, sir. And like, like, oh, don't say that because then it sounds like you're going to reoffend. Don't tell the truth. And he's like, okay. So like a little commentary on the American like prison system that like pushes people to get right back into it.
I think there's also some like connections between like labor and prison being very similar in ways. Like in the opening, he even says it. He's like, work felt a lot like prison, except I got to get a paycheck at the end of the week and I got to see my wife at the end of every day. Like basically like your labor and your control either way, but at least, when you're free, you get to kiss your wife, when you get home or whatever. And then I think another thing is that the brothers, the criminal brothers, they say, hi, you're young and you've got your health. What do you want to get a job for? Which is another line I really love.
There's also when the police come over to Mr. Arizona's house, they're like, do you have like any disgruntled employees? And he's like, oh yeah, tons of them, but they wouldn't do this. They're too afraid of me. Or like they wouldn't take action without me.
Yeah, Arizona is like kind of an interesting character in general in that way, because he is like this very not hawkish, but a capitalist sellout, a bit of a capitalist pig,
Pig.
like
like oink oink baby.
like he uses his son's kidnapping as a way to promote his business, or like wants to ensure that his business is fine even with his kid missing. He's like tells the news like, oh, and everything's just dandy down at unpainted Arizona, like where you can like you can still get all the best deals on unpainted furniture. But then at the end, he also, when Hai and Ed return the baby to him at the end, he's like a very understanding. It's, because he too wanted to have a child for so long and couldn't, and then got it. So it's like this sort of human element dug under this capitalist heel. It's kind of interesting in that way.
Yeah, it's almost like having a child rebirths you in the same way that getting released from prison rebirths you.
There's almost this like Robin Hood-esque thing that like Hai and Ed used to justify their crime of like literally stealing, like treating a baby like a commodity, like, well, steal from the rich and give to the poor. It's kind of interesting, and that gets flipped on its head in a number of different ways throughout the film.
It's interesting that they steal his kid and not their friend's kid, because their friends who come over have a shitload of kids.
True.
Yeah.
And they don't steal any of them. But all those kids are pieces of shit.
True. Those kids suck.
Crazy gang of kids. Wild child.
Try not to cut yourself, Mordecai.
Oh, I forget. If you guys can remember this line, that would be incredible. But there was a good line by Ed towards the end when she's like realizing that they need to return Nathan Jr. And it's when Nathan Jr. gets kidnapped by the two prison escapees. Mm-hmm. She's like, oh yeah, I was sitting there thinking about Nathan Jr.'s mom. And at that moment, I was like, oh, she's going to be like, she was going through so much fear with her child missing, and she just had the same thing happen. She's going to like associate with that. But what did she say? Do you remember? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I found the script to Raising Arizona, and I scrolled through and I fucking found it. Okay, so she was saying, ever since those jailbirds took little Nathan, I've been thinking about his mother. Even if Miss Arizona had more than she could handle, I was a police officer sworn to hold up the Constitution of the United States.
Well, I think that comes back to her changing sense of justice. It's not really like her not feeling bad. It's like changing, like recontextualizing why she feels bad. She's not relating to Miss Arizona from a motherly standpoint. She's like regressing to her like law background. I don't know. It's kind of an interesting character choice. Maybe a little surprising too, or unexpected. I think one thing in the film that I'd like to talk about is the difference between the way characters speak and the way Hai narrates. Did y'all pick up on any? Did you notice any differences there?
Did y'all? I noticed that difference. I'm just kidding.
Hyde talks very much about the future, and when he's talking to himself.
Yeah. This is just interesting because, like, so I'm approaching this movie having spent like a whole week of a class discussing it, right? Like, really like digging into the nitty and gritty of it. So it's kind of the thing where I watch it through a different lens. So I'm curious, like, what you guys picked up on, right? So like something that's completely core to how I view this film, y'all might not have seen at all. So that is just kind of interesting to me. You didn't pick up on the difference between how he narrates versus how he speaks?
I don't think so.
If you notice during the narration, he is very poetic. He speaks in metaphors and it's almost kind of beautiful at times, especially his end monologue where he's dreaming a dream about the future and like this aspirational thing of all that he wants. But then if you zoom in on how High talks to people, it's very like, yeah, sure. Like there's this kind of poetry to the imaginary or to the daydream that he lives in or thinks in that's very different than who he is. And I think it has a lot to it's something that I think is important in the film, because it shows that High has like a certain depth to him, and like how he experiences the world is so different than how the world sees him. So like he's deep, he has all these this emotion, and like when he's thinking there's all this poetry to it, but on the outside you just see him as kind of a rube. And I think it kind of speaks to the film's perspective on the challenges of scarcity, of jail life, of all these things. And I think it's really beautiful. And I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that, so even if you did, since you didn't maybe pick up on it at first.
Yeah, I mean, High has a rich inner world, and like I can very much relate to, like, I feel like in my head I sound so much better, or like I am like able to put ideas together and make it coherent, and then when I try to speak it out loud, like especially in this fucking podcast, y'all, when I'm trying to say something and then I'm just and both of you are like, what? Like sometimes I don't have the language to be able to try to express the rich inner world. So yeah, that's really cool.
It's okay if you don't have any follow-up thoughts. I just felt like I had to get it off my chest because like it connects to why I like really love this movie. I think it's a very humanist film, and I think there's some interesting details used with it, especially the sort of idea of dreams or fantasy versus reality. And I think one of the core figures in that is Leonard Smalls. So maybe we could pivot to just talking about the biker from hell a little bit.
He's introduced through one of those poetic things.
Exactly.
Dreams. Ben's about to hawk up a fucking lung in his spleen.
Yeah, exactly. He's like this writer, Mad Max, no care for the little things, blows up a bunny with a hand grenade.
And he's looking for the kid too, but he's doing it purely for financial reasons.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of funny. He's in the business of, or in one of the unpainted Arizona stores, and he sits down across from Nathan, Arizona, and starts talking to him about the economics of baby kidnapping. Yeah. He's like, it's simple economics. You put out a $50,000 reward. Well, I think I can get a better price for your baby than that, you know.
I also think it's a little noteworthy that when High and Ed steal the baby, they steal that book on how to fucking raise babies. Yes. And then when the brothers, the criminal brothers, steal the baby, they also come back and take the book. But when Leonard Smalls takes the baby, he never takes the book.
I think it's also like a gag at, like, I think that book was like the book on raising children. Like everybody who had a child like had it, and so it was just like, oh, when you're kidnapping a baby, gotta take the book too. I love that little continuously like reoccurring bit.
Well, I forget which character says it. It's like, oh, don't forget the instructions, which I think is really funny.
Well, I think that also speaks to this metaphor going on that like this baby is your access to like a higher life, a better life. And High and Ed see it, no financial gain in it. They just want to improve their lives and get out of this cycle. The criminal brothers, and they initially want to just make money, but then they end up kind of liking the baby and think that they can grow up and move on. And then Leonard just wants the money.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because, like, that's scary. Nobody should be having children because they think it'll, like, set them straight. Like, or, like, think it'll make them a better person.
Nobody
like,
should be having children.
Well, I don't think that's high in Ed's perspective necessarily. I don't think they're looking at it as a fix, you know?
What do you think it is?
Well, they literally say it. It's not even subtext. It's like they say...
It's text.
It's text. Yeah, exactly. They say they think they should have a critter around because they basically one more day that their child isn't in the world will be a day they will have missed on experiencing like a beautiful world. Like they say they want to share the beauty of the world with a child, which I guess is a noble, you know, if you're going to have, if it, you know, you can get into the ethics of it, but it's a good reason to have a kid.
And good reason to kidnap a kid.
This is true.
I'm kidding. Don't kidnap kids, y'all.
This is a anti-kidnapping kids podcast.
Or adults.
Speak
Or
for
adults.
yourself, dog.
Oh my god.
Well, kids are easier to kidnap than adults because they're so small that they can't fight back.
Oh no. Oh no.
So Leonard,
I don't
Small.
know this man.
Did y'all pick up on that Leonard Smalls has the same Roadrunner tattoo as High?
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? What do you think that means or represents?
Oh, I mean, they're both clearly two sides of the same coin. They're both outlaws.
Mm-hmm.
They're both kind of like roadrunners in energy, you know, scooting around really fast. Wait, what's that cartoon? Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner?
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually,
I
no,
feel like-
it's not a woodpecker. No, it is a woodpecker.
It's a roadrunner.
Well,
I thought it was a woodpecker. I thought it was Woody the Woodpecker.
Oh, it might be. Yeah, it might be Woody the
I don't
Woodpecker.
think so.
I just was thinking Roadrunner because of Arizona, but yeah, it is interesting.
I think.
Yeah, I think there is sort of a reflection or like an evil doppelganger version of High in a certain sense. Like they kind of have a similar background. Their motivations are totally different, but their objective is the same. Get the baby.
Right.
Right?
Right. But High has love in his heart. and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy.
I mean, if we're talking about.
I was just going to say, because Leonard has a tattoo that says, Mama didn't love me.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Like, no, if we're talking about all these reoccurring themes and metaphors of birth and rebirth, like, what's his name? Little Smalls?
Leonard Smalls.
Little Smalls.
Biggie
Leonard
Smalls.
Smalls. Leonard Smalls is literally birthed from High's dream and
Yeah.
comes into the real life, has the Roadrunner tattoo. Yeah, he is literally a part of High.
Yeah,
And
he's the part that Keep going. Yeah, keep going.
Oh, you want me to keep going, Ben?
No, you're on it. You're on one.
Yeah. No, the part of High that would have continued to be if it wasn't for Ed and for this baby coming into their life and wanting to make them a better person. Better people.
Yes. So this movie's stance is if you have a child, it will make you a better person
Yeah.
in the eyes of the law.
I don't.
And God.
I don't think that's the metaphor, but we're going for it here. But I'll accept.
Would you guys have a baby to make you a better person?
No,
Fuck
God.
no.
It would definitely make me a worse person, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, same.
I'd be so angry all the time.
I just want to play Smash.
Shut up, nerd. Go outside.
Could you imagine having a kid and then he gets the age where he thinks he knows what the fuck he's talking about? It's like, shut up, you idiot! You don't fucking know.
I definitely remember my dad, like that time period really grated on him. He's like, you always tell me I'm wrong, but I'm not. I just remember him saying that to me. I guess we can get into the, like, I don't actually have much left. We've been talking for a while. Was there anything sort of technical that stuck out to you guys, like that you enjoyed or didn't enjoy? The, like, craft elements of the film, maybe?
I love how much depth Coen Brothers movies have. They really like pointing the camera down long hallways.
I like some of the shots. Sorry, can you hear my dog licking
No.
water? Okay, good. I was trying to wait till he was done. I liked, some of the shots that they had with, like, when Ed finds out that they can't conceive children, that they're sitting on the bed, on the corner of the bed. It's a wide shot. You can see, like, mess everywhere, and Hi is narrating, saying, like, it, took a toll on Ed, that Ed doesn't want to do tasks anymore, and, like, that one shot sells that whole story, and I love shots like that.
I just learned that the cinematographer for this movie is Barry Sonnenfeld. Or
Who dat?
Sonfield. He directed Wild Wild West.
Wow, that kind of actually makes total sense in a way.
That's incredible. Apparently, he also did cinematography for Misery. Wow. Highs and lows.
Peaks and valleys.
The lighting is incredible. It's very even. In the desert.
Yeah, they definitely picked the right times. Like, there's definitely some really good sunset shots that are great.
That classic one where they're sitting in their lawn chairs out at dusk. Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful. Beautiful.
Desert sunsets are beautiful.
Deserts are beautiful, baby.
Yeah. There's a lot of, like, interesting, like, lens things happening out. It feels very sort of, I don't know if it's called, it's not an anamorphic lens, but everything looks sort of like telephoto lens. Yeah, I don't know. Everything feels very distorted and dreamlike, which is makes sense for High's, experiential way he moves through the world.
I saw a filmmaking hack on, like, if you want to get that dreamlike shot, that you take a little bit of Vaseline and put it around the, like, circumference of the lens, and it gives you that dreamlike glow.
Hell
Interesting.
yeah.
I feel like that could be done in post, but I appreciate the technique.
Yeah, probably.
I guess if you're shooting on film, you got to do it somehow.
Practical effects, baby.
Also, the production design is out of this fucking world. All the costumes are so vibrant, so much color, immediately unique. That's another thing. I mean, so much goes into, like, when we talk about the Coen Brothers having really good side characters, so much goes into that. You have to write them well. You have to dress them well. You have to frame them well. So much. And the production design is doing so much heavy lifting here. Like, I love Mr. Arizona's character. I love how he's always wearing a fucking bathrobe. I love his house. I love his house so much. I love that set so fucking much. If I directed that movie and my set designer made me that set, I would give them a raise. I love that shit so goddamn much. The crib is huge and oversized.
Yeah, it's massive. It's so big.
It's got all their names on
I mean,
the
it
headboard.
is supposed to hold 5 babies, so,
Yeah.
Just brilliant little details. It's fucking great.
How do you guys think this film ended up with a cult classic status? Like, what about this kind of... it was a moderately successful film for its low budget, and the Coen Brothers became huge in a way that sort of transcends cult status. They're not indie. So like, what about this movie and some of their other comedies have lent you? Why do you think it's a cult classic?
It's because it's a go-to movie for like sleeper hits. And by sleeper hit, I mean a movie. You've described it like this the entire time, Mitch. It's highbrow, lowbrow.
Yeah.
It's a really good example of a movie where there's a lot going on under the hood, but the hood is rusting.
The people who get it, get it. The people who don't. And
Yeah.
I'm curious, did it have a flop release, or was it just always like that where some people got it, some people didn't?
No, it was like fairly successful.
Okay.
It made $22 million in 1987, which is pretty good.
But the important thing in relation to this discussion is that a lot of people didn't get it, and that pissed a lot of critics off.
Yeah, there was a lot of people, at least according to the book I read at the time, that just like, there's a lot of technical craft, at least from the critics' end, saying like, there's a lot of technical craft, but when everyone's a cartoon, it's just like a little hard to sit through, or it feels incongruous. That was another thing. Ben, you kind of brought that up a little bit too.
Yeah. You could use it as a filter, show it to your friend, and if your friend's like, I think that's stupid, then your friend's an idiot.
Or that you shouldn't recommend Coen Brother comedies to them.
Yeah.
I mean, not even that. Again, like, if this was my first intro to a Coen Brother comedy, I don't think I would be like, ooh, let's check out their other ones as much. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
What are you trying to say, Lucas?
Like, I'm not trying to say it's not a staple of their comedy, or like, it is an example of their comedy, but I don't know. I wouldn't say if you liked this movie or didn't like this movie that you could then tell whether or not you like Coen Brothers or not. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's hard to say in that way.
Ben just gave me a judgy look. He's like, his opinion doesn't matter to me anymore.
Say something nice about the fucking Coen Brothers.
I mean, I tend to not like the whole like, it's like you just didn't get it thing or whatever, and I don't think that's necessarily like what it's a movie for smart people. That's why it's a cult classic. I think that it's both that I think partially because it's low budget, it's kind of old, but it connects with people in some way that maybe is a little hard to articulate. And I think that's part of the cults, like what makes something a cult classic is like how it resonates with them and why these films build community. There's a reason that there's like kind of a trope about like dudes at a party talking about Coen Brothers movies being, it's like it's a trope, right? Because it's a real thing. Like there is a community around films like this and The Big Lebowski that sort of transcend its film status and its cultural cachet.
Yeah, and like I want to say that, like, or clarify that when I was saying if you get it, you get it, and if you don't, you don't. I wasn't trying to talk about like the highbrow aspect of it, or like you aren't, smart enough to understand it, but more like if you get the style of comedy and you enjoy it, you vibe with it, then you get it.
It's definitely a matter
Would you
of taste.
say then?
Like I could see it being obnoxious. Yes. It works for me. It actually is kind of surprising that it works for me in a lot of ways because I don't tend to like really loud, obnoxious things in general.
Would you say that this is a cult classic or this is a cult movie in the same sense that I would assume like Wes Anderson has a very particular style of comedy, and if you like it and you enjoy it, and a lot of people don't, and that's like totally fair.
Yeah.
But like that's almost like cult
Yeah.
ish, not because of it was a flop initially, but because it like it's really for
A certain
specific
segment.
audience.
Yeah. That's a really
Yeah.
good comp. I think Wes Anderson is actually a really good comp for this movie. Like, it is super taste dependent.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Interesting. I always thought, again, like getting into this, that cult classics had to have flopped and then had a resurgence post release.
I kind of thought that too, to a greater or lesser extent, but then like I'd look up lists and I'd see movies that were still successful, and I'm like, okay, well, what makes this a cult classic? And I think it has to come back to community support at some level.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, boys, that's the last of my questions. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Yeah, what does HI stand for?
Henry, for sure.
Or Hugh?
No, he said it's in the movie.
Okay.
He writes Ed a letter, and then it says like Henry or Harold. Honestly, I can't fucking remember because I was
Harold Ignacio.
Yeah. So it's clearly initials, but I don't remember. He definitely never says what the I stands for.
Another one for you, Mitch. Where does this land in terms of the Coen Brothers cinematic universe? And where does it land
The
in the Coen Brother comedic cinematic universe?
The CBCU. This is one of my faves. That's why I picked it. It's definitely like top 4 or 5 for me, for sure. It's definitely my favorite comedy of their comedies. There was a second part to your question, though. What was it?
It was like, where is it in the Coen Brothers movies, and then
Yeah,
where's
so-
it in the Coen Brothers comedies?
Yeah, it's my favorite comedy of theirs for sure. I'm kind of always between various ones. I love Inside Llewyn Davis. I really like Miller's Crossing. I think Miller's Crossing is super underrated. I need to rewatch Blood Simple because it's been a long time. I haven't watched it since I watched it for that class. Yeah, I mean, No Country is good. I honestly, there hasn't been any Coen Brothers that I've seen that I haven't liked. I've had some that I've had to warm up to, like Fargo and Big Lebowski were ones that came to me much later than the other comedies, for instance.
Did you like this movie more the first time you watched it, or did you like it more after you talked about it with your class?
Oh, a lot more after I talked about it with my class. Well, so the first time I watched Raising Arizona was at Film on the Rocks, and I was probably like 8, and I just didn't get it at all. And I was grumpy, and I was tired, and it was cold, and I wanted to go home.
I just love the image of little Mitch being this old man, grumpy and tired and cold. Can we go home?
So that was my only
Very cute.
exposure to it before watching it for class. And then growing an appreciation of it after all the discussions and readings and stuff.
What about this watch through?
Oh, I had a hoot. I had such a good time. I wasn't really in the mood to watch a movie, but I needed to watch it for the podcast, and I had prep to do. I wanted to read things and get my notes together and all these stuff. So I just put it on, and once that intro was done, I was like so locked in. I was just like having such a good time.
No fun.
It was a hoot.
Hootenanny.
Well, should we move on to final thoughts?
I think we should. I think it's a good time.
Well, I like it. I like Raising Arizona a lot. It's such a fucking fun and funny movie, and I love the Coen Brothers. I'm one of those guys that talk about the Coen Brothers at parties.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, it's great. I find it hard to believe people don't like it.
What would you rate it?
I'd give it like a mid 7.
7. That's pretty high praise for a 7. Lucas?
I had a fun time watching it. I audibly laughed when watching it. I thought the intro was dense and good, not overwhelming. Very much. I don't know if I was like locked in, but after watching, I was like ready and prepared, and I was like, "Ooh, let's see what they had a good setup. Let's see where this goes." Not my favorite Coen Brothers movie. I felt that the like layers upon layers, like I didn't notice some of them. Some of them I saw and I was like, oh, interesting, but it was a breeze past. But yeah, I don't know. Not my favorite Coen Brothers movie. I enjoyed it, but I will not be thinking about it much afterwards. I'll probably rate it like a 5.5.
Wow.
Tough crowd.
Tough crowd tonight. Damn.
I mean, both of
all
you
good.
love it, so it's not tough crowd, tough Lucas.
Tough, yeah, it's fair.
Well, Ben give it a 7, so it's not like love seems strong for a 7. Like he liked it.
I'd say I love Raising Arizona.
Okay.
I feel like Ben doesn't give. I mean, we could refer back to Ben's sheet, but I don't feel like you give 7s too often. Like 7s are high praise
High
from
praise,
Ben.
yeah.
I feel like right?
That's high praise.
I have 7s more than you guys.
Yeah, no, for sure. We're all it's a tough crowd. We are the tough crowd.
Yeah, exactly.
We are the tough crowd.
I give someone 9. You're like, damn, a tough crowd.
I adore this movie. It's one of my favorite Coen Brothers. I was very excited to pick. I don't want to call it a triumph. I just adore it. I just adore
The Coen Brothers are gonna be crying tonight.
it. They don't get the T rank, but I do adore this movie. I love it so much. It's one of my faves. It's a comfort movie for me. When I haven't watched it in a while, I'm like, oh, that movie's so fucking good. And a lot of it comes from that analysis piece. I just really love watching the tapestry of the interplay of themes and ideas, and it's so dense, and every time you watch it, you can pull something new out of it. With that said, I mean, this is a 9 for me. I absolutely love Raising Arizona. I think it's incredible.
High praise.
That's high praise.
Tough crowd, man.
Tough crowd.
Good Lord, a 9? Not even a triumph?
Yeah.
All right, well,
Wow.
I've turned on dark mode.
You have. It's
Yeah.
that time of the night where you've gone dark.
Demon
And all I
hour.
can see are his teeth.
That's true. That is true. And the slick forehead.
Oh, I'm prepping because we have to claw our way through the depths. The horrors, the abyss, the void of the internet, so we can find the craziest, kookiest, lunaciest, ludicrous-iest,
Luda.
fucking unhinged reviews, baby.
Woo, woo.
Featuring Luda.
I'm gonna be honest, mine is terrible. I could not find any good ones.
Yeah.
We
I'll go
too could
first.
not. Our seeds could not find purchase. I was trying hard, but I dug up a few desert flowers for you guys.
Hey.
Mine comes from IMDb user 41116-30346.
AI is
gave it a
commenting.
They gave it a 7 out of 10, and they said, Fun, zany tale of two handcuffed lovers and a baby crazy mama. A fun watch to remind you that Nicholas Coppola Cage, Cage is in quotes, Nicholas Coppola Cage, has been screaming and making weird noises ever since he's been famous. Good showing my John Goodman as well. That's not unhinged.
I like that he like has to point out that Nick Cage is a Coppola, like it's like some kind of secret intel or something.
Is he? I did not know this.
Yeah, no, he's the nephew of Francis Ford Coppola,
wow.
cousin
Who are the
of
other
Sofia
Coppolas?
Coppola, and
Yeah.
Jason Schwartzman.
I didn't get to say this during the pod, but I fucking love Nick Cage.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I fucking love Nick Cage so much.
He's an American treasure. He's absolutely
He
American
is an
treasure.
American
He's
treasure.
a national treasure, in fact.
Some might say national treasure.
Some might call
Also,
him
have you seen that recent movie about him and the dreams?
Oh, I haven't seen
No.
Dream Scenario. I've been thinking about watching
It's
it.
good. It's
I
good.
should
I
watch
love
it. Should I watch
I'm
it?
ready for the Nick
It
Cage
seems like
comeback. Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but it seems like a fucking Lucas movie.
Yeah, it's A24. And y'all.
Oh, is it A24? I fucking knew it. I fucking knew it.
Hey, all the A24s I've recommended, y'all have enjoyed, except for the one that shall not be named.
I don't hate A24. It's just they make a lot of movies.
They do.
Lucas, do you want to go next?
Yeah. Mine comes from a friend of the pod, Adam Sandler.
Oh,
Yeah!
Oh no, he's
deep
back.
in the sheets.
Yes, dude.
Adam Sandler rated Raising Arizona a 0.5 star, and he says, "Raising Adam Sandler."
That's it.
He's back, baby.
We gotta follow him on Letterboxd.
We
See
gotta get him on
where
the
else
pod.
we find him.
Oh, and then I guess there's a tag, and it says they can't all be winners.
Okay. I have two. One. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not even gonna give him anything else other than that. I'll just read them. My eyes are falling out of my head. They're just very dry and itchy. This first review comes from Max on Letterboxd, who gave it 1 star. Cult classics are just bad movies that people pretend aren't bad.
Okay. Fuck you.
I thought it was topical. I thought it was really,
It is topical.
that was more of my like light little appetizer. For this one, which is okay. This is from Letterboxd user Clangles, who gave it 2 stars out of 5. Due to personal irrational hangups surrounding the concept of family, I will be rating this film lower than it deserves. Sorry.
That's funny. That's good.
At least
That's
you're
real.
honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a tough
I have
week in the
another one.
mines. It was a tough week in the mines. Had a
Yeah,
hard
it
time
was.
finding
Yeah.
stuff.
I had another one from Brooks on Letterboxd. 1 star. Mitch, this is kind of where you got yours, but first the baby, then the Declaration of Independence. What a monster.
The greatest thief known to man, Nick Cage.
Yeah.
Stealing hearts.
And constitutions.
Well, dear viewers or listeners, fuck.
It's both. It's both.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah.
Next week we'll be watching my pick to round out the epoch. It's Such a Beautiful Day.
It's such a beautiful day. All right.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I know Ben
ooh.
loves this movie.
We're gonna have a hoot.
It's pretty short, right?
Huh?
I think it's pretty short, right? It's like an hour.
Yeah, it's
long.
like an hour and 10.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't.
Oh,
I literally know nothing about this movie.
That is one thing I wanted to say. We're going to watch It's Such a Beautiful Day and also World of Tomorrow. World of Tomorrow is one of his short films he made. It's,
Okay.
Relax, Lucas. It's 16 minutes.
Okay.
Lucas is
I
like,
was like, he's
anything
fitting in
longer
two
than
movies?
he's like anything longer than a TikTok. I'm out.
Oh my god! I don't even have it.
It's Such a Beautiful Day is really short, and World of Tomorrow is a little more accessible, and it'll be interesting to compare and contrast them.
Okay.
It's shorter than most of the. It's shorter than the fucking film you recommended, Lucas.
I'm not. No, I thought you were gonna do it like It's Such a Beautiful Day. Plus, you have on the spreadsheet Fear and Loathing, and so I was like, "Are you doing two full movies?"
No.
Like even if it's an hour movie plus a full movie, I'm like greedy pot of greed
Yes,
over
dear
here.
listeners,
Pot
I
of
was going to
greed.
choose Fear and Loathing, but I changed my mind.
I am excited for this because I watched this movie independently, and then you were like, "It's amazing! It's crazy!" And so excited to pick your brain about it.
Yeah, pick my brains up off the floor.
Oh my god! I am curious what Mitch will think about it. I don't have high hopes.
I'm going in with zero expectations and zero knowledge, which is the perfect way to watch a movie.
Oh heck yeah!
Yeah. So yeah, join us next week.
Thank you, dear listeners. Kisses. Good night.
And go get some sleep.
Have a baby. Solve the relationship.